So today, we are jumping into a classic, dark folk tale from the one and only H.P. Lovecraft. It's a story all about supernatural justice, and it serves as a pretty chilling warning. You never, ever mess with cats. This is the Cats of Ulthar.
Okay, so let's get right into it. This one single, kind of ominous law, that's the whole mystery of the story. It's a simple rule, right? But it's absolutely drenched in a history of fear and blood. So how in the world did this strange law come to be? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
All right, Section 1, a law born of blood. So, way before this law was ever even a thing, the remote town of Ulthar was hiding a dark secret. A cruelty that, everyone knew about, but nobody dared to stop.
You've got to understand, in this town, cats weren't just pets. No, they were seen as something more. Sacred, cryptic beings that were connected to mysteries that we humans just couldn't perceive. They were cherished members of the community, purring by every single hearth. Okay, on to Section 2, the killers in the cottage. But of course, this town-wide love for cats wasn't shared by everyone. There was a cruel exception living in the shadows, and it cast a very real pall of fear over the entire village.
You know, Lovecraft's choice of setting here is so important. The evil isn't happening in some grand castle. It's tucked away in this remote, neglected little shack. It tells you that this is a rot that's just been allowed to fester, quietly, in the dark corners of the community.
And yeah, we're not just talking about some grumpy old couple here. No, they were feared throughout the entire village for one very specific, very nasty reason that made every pet owner in Ulthar live in a state of constant anxiety. This was literally their only pleasure. The villagers would hear these terrible sounds in the night, which led them to believe the couple's methods were, as Lovecraft puts it, exceedingly peculiar. But because of the withered, just hateful looks on the couple's faces, nobody ever dared to confront them.
All right, Section 3, a wanderer's prayer. So this whole fragile, fearful situation, it all gets blown up by the arrival of a caravan of wanderers, and this one event would become the catalyst for changing the town forever. So this poor kid, Menes, had already lost his whole family to a plague. This tiny kitten was everything to him. It was his last connection to family, his only comfort in a harsh world. And of course, in Ulthar, that last comfort would be stolen from him. And things escalate fast. Day 1, the caravan arrives. By day 3, the kitten is gone. That same afternoon, Menes learns about the old couple. But instead of just grieving, Menes takes action, not with weapons, but with this strange and incredibly powerful prayer. And this is the exact moment where the story just flips from a grim little folktale to full-on supernatural horror. See, Menes isn't just praying to some random god. He is summoning something ancient, powerful, and very, very real, right out of the sky itself. So that brings us to Section 4, the Feline Reckoning. That night, after the wanderers leave, the town of Ulthar becomes the stage for a silent, perfectly coordinated, and utterly terrifying uprising. The town's most cherished creatures were about to deliver some justice.
Let's just break this down for a second. This isn't chaos. It's a ritual. All the cats disappear in unison. Then they're seen performing this rite around the cottage. They come back, totally full, and get this, refuse to eat anything for 2 whole days. The implication is chillingly clear, isn't it?
For days, that little hovel stayed dark and silent. When the villagers finally worked up the courage to go inside, this is all they found. No struggle, no mess, just 2 skeletons picked completely clean of all flesh. And just like that, the mystery we started with is solved. After weighing all the evidence, the prayer, the circling cats, the skeletons, the town leaders didn't question it. They made that act of feline vengeance into the law of the land. Okay, Section 5, Lovecraft's cat philosophy. So, why this story? Why this particular form of justice? Well, to really get the Cats of Ulthar, you have to understand the author's profound, almost worshipful, personal connection to cats. For Lovecraft, this story wasn't just some flight of fancy. It was an expression of his personal philosophy. He genuinely believed cats were special, dignified creatures who were connected to a world way beyond our own.
In a 1926 essay called Cats and Dogs, he laid out this really stark comparison. He saw dogs as simple, needy peasants, but cats, oh, cats were gentlemen, they were self-possessed, mysterious, and fundamentally unconquered. And that philosophy is the very soul of our story.
This quote from the story itself is just pure Lovecraft. It's not just that he likes cats, it's that he sees them as these vessels of ancient mystery, as heirs to forgotten cities, and as cousins to the Sphinx. They are tied directly into his whole brand of cosmic horror.
And that brings us to our final section, number 6, The Legacy of Ulthar. So, finally, let's look at how this short tale, which he apparently wrote in a single day, has left a lasting paw print on fiction and even gaming.
Yeah, this story wasn't a one-off fable. Ulthar actually became a key location in the Dreamlands, which is this shared universe Lovecraft built across multiple stories, a place you could only get to through sleep.
And its influence is still going strong over a century later. That innkeeper's son, Atal, he grows up to become a priest in other stories. The town itself is a key setting in other tales. And today, you can read it as a graphic novel or even play it as a card game. For a story written so early in his career, its legacy is immense.
It really does leave you wondering, doesn't it? The next time you see a cat just sitting quietly, purring by the fire, you might just find yourself looking at it a little differently, pondering what strange and ancient things it remembers, and what justice it might be prepared to serve.